Bart Scott, what is your perspective on this?
I mean, it's discouraging, Greeny. Once again, we see an African-American qualified candidate get slighted. And, I don't know, these stories about he may not interview well, that's a joke. I mean, because if you talk to anybody that's ever talked to him or have ever interviewed him, he's a guy that understands and knows how to talk to the media, knows how to say the right things. That was very gracious of him right there. I'm just tired, Greeny, of every time we look up and it's a name that nobody's ever heard of, you don't have to Google. You know it's some white coach from somewhere. And, it's like the good old boys club, right? They're taking care of their own, and they're not giving guys the opportunity. I think it's a joke, and I think it's making a mockery of the Rooney Rule. I mean, not only is Eric Bieniemy a qualified candidate, you got Todd Bowles. We never even hear Byron Leftwich's name mentioned. And look what he's been able to do. He had Jameis Winston. Yes, Jameis Winston, hungry for W's, hungry for wins. That Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards in that offense. And then the next year, Tom Brady's effective as well. Like, he's not even mentioned. And not only is that, he's got blood in the soil, or whatever you want to say, because he's played in this league, played at a high level. He wasn't some Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, out-of-the-pocket, unconventional type of quarterback. He's a guy that had to think because he didn't have the physical attributes to play the game with athleticism. He was a guy that had to think the game. So you're telling me that he's good enough to be the coordinator, but he's not good enough to be even mentioned in the quarterback or in the head coaching realm? Like, it's a joke. I mean, last year when we heard Joe Judge, had never heard of him. Got to Google him. Got to find him. I didn't even know Dan Campbell was even still in the NFL. This dude sounded like he's on Piper Pig yesterday and doing a wrestling promo, but that's the guy that you decide to be the CEO of your organization. Slap in the face for all Detroit Lions fans, in my opinion, because I'm from there.
We're going to play that sound for you a little bit later today. RC, go ahead.
Yeah, I used to be upset about it, but I actually talked to Raheem Morris last week, and I apologized to him, and I told him that I hate what this league has done to minority and African-American coaches. And he said, oh, it's no problem. He's like, we knew what it was. He said, I knew I had to be undefeated. I knew I had to try to get this team into the playoffs in order to keep this job. And so it seems like the minority coaches or the black coaches, even in listening to Eric Bieniemy, they have come to the conclusion that they understand their fight. And it's usually us that get upset. But I want you to think about this. When we see Sirianni get a job, or it's Dan Campbell or Staley, and you start to see some of these names, they go get Urban Meyer from college. You think about all the criteria or what the things that are hot, right? Obviously, Andy Reid assistants and Andy Reid offensive coordinators were hot because we had Doug Peterson, we had Matt Nagy. Now Eric Bieniemy gets there, and it's something different. He doesn't call plays. Okay, let's move the goalpost for him. And then now you're the Philadelphia Eagles, and you're looking for a coach to get your job, and you get guys like Malcolm Jenkins that come out and endorse Deuce Staley. Also, Boston Scott, a guy I trained, that says that Deuce Staley would be the person for the job, and they overlook him, and they go hire Frank Wright Jr. And so what we're starting to see is that they can go deep into the pipeline to hire these white head coaches and find white head coaches who we've never heard of, who've never coordinated, who've never called plays, and that's okay. But when we talk about the biggest problem to me is this. Every time we talk about a job, we mention one African-American coach. We mention one black head coach, and that's Eric Bieniemy. But they could dig deep enough to find 7 white coaches to hire before they hire the one name that we have to mention constantly because we feel like it's mainstream enough for people to know. That's an issue.
All right, I will leave it there for the moment, but certainly this is an issue that isn't going away. There is one vacancy left right now. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.